Hello everyone, hope you're having a good weekend, hope your Sunday's going well. Today we're doing kind of a casual tinfoil stream. We're just going to be looking around for new sources of tinfoil. We're not out or anything, no, Lady Ann. Sometimes I just like to look at sources that we haven't really tapped into. I don't know, I thought I'd get some suggestions from you guys and we'll search around. Pretty casual. I'm having a rough day, if I'm being honest. Not feeling good. I'm really not feeling good. So I just wanted to hang out with you guys and be distracted. So let's do that. We are also doing a patron and YouTube member only stream after this. So if you want to be a part of that, go ahead and become a Patreon at patreon.com/HannahReloaded or get a YouTube membership. Either way, we're probably going to watch some Call for an Uprising or something. We might watch the Marcel video to me. But honestly, I'm already feeling really bad today, and that's a video where Marcel just calls me a lot of slurs. That probably won't make me feel better. So yeah, I don't know. Let's look at stuff. We'll do our best. If you want to help support the show, do me a favor. Get a subscription. I'm trying to get to the 300 concurrent subscriber mark right now. As of the 19th, we are at 98, so almost 100, and I need 300. So if you haven't but you like the show, consider subscribing. Anyway, let's see, I pulled up some random stuff to start with. So let's do this. What's this? The Alpha Draconians. Jay's a Proxy, thanks for 125 stream streak, says, a witch! Thoughts on adding more non-Sovsit court vids? Also, 875 left. We did do a stream a while back that was just general court vids. We'll probably do it again.
The Alpha Draconians predate humans.
That's an Argonian.
Well over hundreds of millions of years. They are sapient reptoids who were seeded here by another unknown and vastly superior reptilian who are loosely identified as the Tiamatians.
I wish I would get seeded by a reptilian.
They appeared into our reality from another dimension, somewhere from what the Hindu Sanskrit texts refer to as locus and talus. The points of entry into our known universe is suspected to be through a gateway at Thuban and Alway. The propagation on Earth initially began with the seeding of dinosaurs. As Sauria-blooded dinosaurs evolved into Iguanodontia, dinosaur intelligence became more sapient. Eventually they became...
If I had a Silurian on these... They must have, right? You'd think someone would have Googled, like, Google image searched, you know, reptilian, and that would have come up and they would have used it in one of these videos. Not that I remember, but I'm shocked to think that. Holly has his cracker, thanks for 26 months.
Upright and walked as bipedals, known as saurians. As they became more advanced to the point that the saurians developed a space program even more sophisticated than what
I still haven't seen Dan's new video.
We know to be as NASA. The saurians may have been...
I've been trying to ignore the internet, which is hard considering this is my job. The world is like a nightmare and just getting worse all the time, and things have been getting worse for the past decade. Nope, don't doom spiral. Don't doom spiral. It's not fair, you know? I want to sit here and doom spiral, but that's not fair to you. First of all, it's not entertaining, and this is my job. So I need to entertain. Secondly, me doom spiraling is just going to spread it to a bunch of other people in chat, many of whom are also vulnerable people. That's not fair of me to do. I have to be the person who's fine, so I'm fine.
Been aware of their history and identified or perhaps longed to find the Alpha Draconian Stargate that their progenitors came from. In time, these advanced saurians became known as the Sakar, who developed what ufologists know today as the Alpha Draconian Empire. The origin of the Draconian race. Like many of the races that many believe are visiting Earth, it was hard to find where the main source of these races are. Some theorists believe they come from other planets or from alternate Earths. This has led to the topic of the origins of the Draconian race to be a very diverse topic. The most common theory that you are going to find is that they come from the planet Draco, located in the Alpha Centauri galaxy.
I would pronounce that Draco, probably, but that's just me. It's their home world. They can call it what they want. Do you think they'll ever develop pants? Is that technology beyond the reach of the scaly ones?
Draconians are believed to be a warrior race that seeks to conquer planets in order to increase the borders of their interstellar empire. This need for warfare has created tension between the Draconians and other alien races. Earth, many theorize, is
This is just the lizard from The Amazing Spider-Man, right? Am I crazy? Looks a lot like the lizard.
just one more battleground.
Is there a necessity for pants? Yes. Hiding genitals.
In an ancient battle that has been going without humans realizing it. The second most popular theory is that the Draconian race don't travel through space, but rather they are interdimensional travelers. They originated on a
That's a kind of space.
different Earth where the resources ended up running out. In order to preserve their race, they traveled to the Earth that we know, where they began to rule over the humans that they
And warm legs. I assume they would be cold-blooded, so it wouldn't keep them warm. If anything, it would insulate them from outside sources of heat, so they'd be colder.
found. This ability to travel through different
They have a cloaca, it's fine. Oh, okay, so they can just flaunt their cloaca everywhere. That's real appropriate.
dimensions is the reason why theorists believe their headquarters haven't been found yet. The final theory that people tend to believe is that the Draconians
Is that the guy from Galaxy Quest?
were here from the start. Being superior to early man, it wasn't hard for the shapeshifters to turn the population of Earth into a
Look at this guy! He's just trying his best. Oh no, look at his eyes are so far apart. He's just a little guy.
massive plantation. As man began to become more intelligent, the Draconian race moved their civilization
Is that a hoodie or is he molting? I can't tell.
to the center of the planet. This move was both to hide their presence from the humans, while also being able to survive with the changing climate. This theory has
Casafel with 100 bits says, Hannah, why are you showing everyone Fur Affinity reference sheets? Are you finally accepting that you're a scaly? Hannah's a scaly, arc confirmed, a member of the furry community, a furry, if you will, a person who likes furry animals, a person who likes to imagine furry animal people, a scaly, if you will, someone who is a scaly, a person with a lizard persona, a lizard person, if you will, a cloaca coalition, if you will, a Liz Lord, if you will, a Liz Lord. You are, Hannah. No, not a furry. Still not a furry.
branched out into the different theories that exist around global warming. The Empire. The Sakar are incredibly adept and considerably intelligent as a species. Their clairvoyant abilities are quite well known, and it is believed all Alpha Draconians have a telepathic ability. It is also suspected some of the elites have a surprising skill to see across and likewise move to other planes. It has been reported that contingents of Alpha Draconis elites had appeared in other planes as these appearances
For like the Twilight
were
Zone,
relayed
most
by
of the
those who had
episodes are on
achieved
YouTube. I have all of the episodes. Way Out. Oh, wait, no, you're talking about this. Way Out is a 1961 horror fantasy science fiction anthology series. Oh, Roald Dahl hosts this. I will save this and I'll watch it sometime. Thank you. Appreciate it. I love anthology shows. I'm aware of the other anthology show Roald Dahl did, Tales of the Unexpected, which I remember liking a lot, although it was a pretty limited series. So I'll check that out.
Multi-plan or travel.
You'll get me one day. I'll tell you this. Even if I was secretly a furry or into some furry adjacent thing, I wouldn't tell you about it. I'm just gonna put that out there. Even if I was a furry or furry adjacent, I wouldn't tell you all. I wouldn't. Just because I wouldn't give you the satisfaction. I wouldn't let you win. I want you to know that.
Many thousands of generations earlier. It has become widely understood that the Alpha Draconian ability to move this way had preceded their subsequent removal from some other as yet unknown place to the system. Though Alpha Draconian vocalizations are difficult to understand or make any sense of and consist of rolling atonal guttural growls and clicking noises, they are loud and harsh to human ears. It could take
Oh, come on! That one doesn't even look like a lizard! That just looks like a generic, like, Doctor Who alien.
significant amount of time.
Or, like, maybe Blake 7. It looks like a 70s BBC production. Maybe, no, early 80s. This is an early 80s BBC makeup. I'm calling it. That is a Doctor Who alien? Called it.
Other advanced concepts to primitive.
No, this doesn't look like a Trek alien. Trek aliens have a tendency to do less. They'll do forehead stuff, they'll do nose stuff. They don't normally do full face things like this unless it's specific characters. And this guy doesn't come off like a specific character in his character design. He comes off as a henchman or a villain or something. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to explain, but I can tell that this is more BBC Doctor Who style. Casfell says, according to the sources I have, which will remain anonymous in order to protect their identity, Hannah is not only a furry, but a horrifyingly powerful one. The sources have reported Hannah has a furry gun, which furries everyone at 10 yards, a gun which shoots fursuits onto people. She shouted, I am a furry, I am a furry, K-E, at the local mall. While firing blindly, this furry gun into the hapless masses, thousands were turned into furries that day. It was terrifying. I don't think that happened. I think I'd remember doing that.
It is believed that this is partially why their clairvoyant abilities are so well refined. The warrior caste that unflinchingly followed the elite's orders rarely spoke, yet somehow could communicate with each other non-vocally. When the soldiers did speak, it was quite short and poignant. Alpha Draconian society follows a more insect-like caste-based organization than true reptile social structure. Though they appear definitively reptilian and
why does that one have a cape? No, those are wings. I thought he was just very regal.
Somewhat bird-like in all outward aspects, they all exhibit a body armor of scales or plated hide, and in some cases even feathery. These were apparently an evolutionary adaptation whose origins could only be guessed. They varied in colors, size, and build dependent on their caste, which could range from very large, dark black and brown with yellow or red stripes.
Man, how much of this guy's hard drive is just pictures of reptilian entities from different movies? I'm almost impressed.
For the elites, to somewhat shorter and stockier, dark red or orange and black striping.
Like it's
for the
genuinely
soldiers.
Bordering on how many pictures of Morgan Freeman I probably used to have on my old computer. Like, it's
The
a lot.
non-elite and non-warrior castes were all smaller in stature and armor, and considerably weaker, though still quite formidable in their own right. The lower castes consisted of scientists, engineers, and the rest of their minor industrial society, and these caste populations were similarly very small.
Polyaz's Cracker, thanks for your membership on YouTube. Thank you very much.
Despite such differences,
Reminder that after stream, we are doing a Patreon and YouTube member-only stream.
all impaired fleet movements contained predominantly individuals from the warrior caste and very small contingents of the lower caste.
Why did I have pictures of Morgan Freeman? Because Morgan Freeman was the person on TBR that was God. So anytime God was mentioned, it was Morgan Freeman. So I probably had hundreds of pictures of Morgan Freeman saved on the computer to clip into, you know, those parts.
Dependent on mission requirements. Though it is still currently unknown what the Sakar require to sustain them, it has been reported that they physically thrive on intense fear they induce on their subjects, to the point of requiring the youngest conquered subjects as foodstuff. There have been some reports that they prefer to feed on the young of man, as a delicacy. There are considerable documented reports of this somewhat macabre activity. The elite. The Sakar elite caste are the power holders and rarely venture from off.
Asafel with another 100 bits says, I have seen things you people wouldn't believe. Uwus off the shoulder of Greg the Furry during a convention departing. Artist's alleys aflame with art so bussin' it would make your heart melt. Glomps so powerful it would cause one to roar, which means I love you and dinosaur. Into the grave. All those memories will be kept by me, Hannah, who is a furry. Oh, how much of a furry I am. I, Hannah Reloaded, who often shortens her name to Hannah Furry or Hannah Reloaded Furry, etc., etc. Wow, I hope those bits are worth it. I really do.
Homeworld, if ever, in order to occupy their literal political stranglehold and conduct empiric business from the central world called Alpha Draconis. This form of rule has held the Empire together without question or internal contradiction, and throughout the compounded epics, no evolution from this form has been either attempted or even so much as hinted at. Due to the rarity of off-world sightings of the elites.
Okay, I think I'm done with this reptilian video. He's already repeating pictures. Halloween Town sent this video, I believe, so let's take a look at this. This is titled, Is the Crescent Moon in the Palm of Your Hand? 6 Things That'll Happen to You in 2025.
Have you ever stopped to think that the lines on the palm of your hands can hide incredible secrets about your life?
No, not usually. It's just where my skin folds. Yeah, it's an AI voice, and the imagery's AI.
Simple symbol could be the key to unlocking your purpose in the universe. If you have a half moon on your hands, get ready. Extraordinary things could be about to happen.
We're not
Perhaps
doing
you've
bingo.
already
I didn't clear the card.
Felt that there's something different about you, something that connects you to a greater force, but you've never been able to explain exactly what it was. This feeling of being special, of carrying something unique, may be related to a detail that most people overlook, the marks we carry on our hands. Today, we're going to explore the meaning of the half moon in the palm of our hands, a rare and enigmatic symbol that, according to ancient spiritual traditions, can reveal much more than we realize. From a connection with the cosmos, to a call to a higher purpose.
I'm trying to think, in terms of, like, palm reading bullshit, how vaguely does it have to be? Because, like, if you look at my palm, for instance, you know, there's a variety of lines that are going to happen. Is this a half moon as far as they're concerned? Because it's just kind of like a vague curve shape? What about this one? You know what I mean? Ugh, it's reading tea leaves, but dumber.
This mark is like a divine signature for those who are ready to awaken their potential. But what does it really mean to have this half moon? Why do only a few people have it? And how can it completely transform your life?
What is that moon? Special edition moon you may have missed. It's the donut moon. Not sure how that one would work. AI's the future, guys. Eggman did that. Fun fact.
Let's unravel these mysteries together and discover how this mark can be the starting point for a unique spiritual journey. Are you ready to understand what the universe has in store for you? If so,
I went to look at him, but I think the brim of my hat knocked him off when I looked. Not like like he landed on his feet. He's a cat, but I do think when I looked, I accidentally maybe underestimated the brim of my hat. Sorry.
subscribe to the channel now. Turn on notifications and join us on this journey of self-discovery. And don't forget, what we're about to reveal could change your perception of who you are and the role you play in the world.
I didn't mean to be mean to the boy.
Have you ever looked at the lines in the palm of your hands and wondered if they have any special meaning? Perhaps, without knowing it, you carry a symbol that connects your essence to the deepest forces of the universe, the half moon. Since ancient times, handprints have been considered maps drawn by higher forces, indicating unique destinies.
I don't know if you know this, but in ancient times, as well as contemporaneously, people believe a lot of silly supernatural things that aren't true. Cool.
The half moon in particular is seen as a portal, a link between the visible and the invisible, the material and the spiritual. If you have this mark, you may have already felt something inexplicable, like a sense of belonging to something greater. But the half moon...
Oh god, look at that hand! I know there have been some pretty bad hands, but oh god. Like that one has a divot in it. It's evolved to carry small quantities of water. Like, it's a little... H-Bird says, if the Galactic Federation conspiracy theory is real, does that mean I get to travel through space in a mini-skirt? It means the mini-skirt is actually mandatory for everyone. So yes.
The moon is not just a physical curiosity. It is a silent invitation from the universe.
God, look at that one! What are they doing?
A reminder that you have a special connection with cosmic energies. This mark carries deep meanings, reserved for those who are ready to explore their true potential and purpose. The half moon is more than just a trait. It's like a spiritual signature. Those who have it often feel a call to discover more about themselves and their role in the world. It's as if the universe has left a secret message, visible only to those prepared to understand it. In various traditions, this mark is believed to symbolize a direct connection with the cycles of the moon and with higher energies. Those who carry the half moon often notice signs throughout their lives, vivid dreams, keen intuitions, and even coincidences that seem to guide their path. Could it be that the half moon in
The cat is attacking my foot. No attack foot. I need it to stand on.
your hands is a
And if
clue
things get desperate, I might need to open a foot-based OnlyFans.
that your destiny is different, that you have been chosen for something greater. When you discover this symbol,
How is this Sobsit? It isn't. It's not? The title isn't Sobsit unless the title didn't update like it was supposed to. The title is Finding New Tinfoil Together, not Sobsit anything.
you may just be at the beginning of an incredible journey. Reflect. What is the half moon in your hands trying to reveal about you? Are you ready to uncover the hidden purpose behind this unique symbol and start aligning your life with the cosmic forces that surround you? What if I told you there was a way to find out if you carry the half moon on your hands? This enigmatic symbol could be right in front of your eyes,
Oh god, it feels like it's just restarting the same message.
waiting to be recognized. And if you find it, it could change everything.
We're only 4 minutes into this 16-minute video and it feels like it's already repeating itself. Amber says, if these people are right about the Galactic Federation or whatever, can we have a sexy Asari wife like Liara and a cool Drell boyfriend like Thane? You sure can.
Perhaps you've never paid much attention to the lines on your hands, thinking they're just unimportant marks.
Jesus. I gotta end that. That's gonna drive me insane. I know this Dustin Nemos guy has been around because he's been trying to debunk the final experiment stuff. Let me see if there's anything interesting from him as of late or ever. I don't really want to watch final experiment stuff right now. Oh boy, he's got some anti-Semitic shit. Great. Medicated person says, I put something in the cult section of the Discord that's also tinfoil. I tagged you in it. Let me take a look. Was it this one? Oh, I love this lady. We've seen this lady before. I've watched, one of her, like, UFO movie things on a cult watch before.
I am Archangel Uriel. I am light. I am wisdom. I am your future.
If you're wondering what you...
By the way, you know how, like, I've talked about how conspiracy theorists go in trends? Like, there'll be a big thing that's popular for a while. QAnon was very popular, for instance, between, like, 2017 and 2019, 2020, maybe even in 2021. Right now, aliens are gaining stuff again. Like, UFO-type conspiracies are getting popular again. So prepare for that. I don't like that, because I'll be honest, alien stuff is some of my least favorite conspiracy content. It's just like, how do I put this? It's boring to try and falsify. Because all you gotta go is like, well, you're seeing stuff and it's not really an alien spaceship or whatever. But I do find the underlying why as to why people believe things interesting still. The aesthetic is just less interesting than the adrenochrome stuff.
You just watched, you're not the first to ask.
Have we heard anything from those QAnon cult in Dallas? Not lately.
What was that, Doctor?
These colorful and eccentric videotape recordings are called psychodramas, and they were produced by a group known as Unarius.
It stands for Universal, Articulate, Interdimensional Understanding of Science.
Did you come up with the name first and then you had to come up with an acronym? Because, like, it sounds good, Unarius.
Unarius is located in the center of El Cajon, a city just outside of San Diego, and if you're driving by the building, it's pretty hard to miss the giant spaceship mural painted on the side. It's very eye-catching from the street here. Does it bring in a lot of people?
It does.
Kevin Kenny is a teacher at Unarius, and if you're curious enough to walk inside the building, he'll gladly show you around.
This particular ship that you're looking, this model mock-up of a spacecraft, was actually used in a film called The Arrival.
Yeah! I remember we watched, like, the quality footage they have is actually better than the footage we saw. If we could see this in this high quality, I would love it. But yeah, we saw this little cult movie. I'm excited that they have the little prop. The movie nerd in me is kind of excited.
Unarius is not a sci-fi movie production company. In fact, they're far from it.
Unarius is a spiritual school, and in Unarius what we teach is that every one of us are energy beings.
Before you jump to any crazy conclusions, let's take a step back. Unarius was founded in 1954 by cosmic visionaries Ernest and Ruth Norman, with the goal of understanding energy and the joining of science and spirit. What does that mean, you ask? Well, there's an entire library of more than 70 volumes that explain the ideas of Unarius, but in simple terms, Kevin puts it this way.
It's a school where we learn as individuals how to become a better human being.
Yes.
See, I think that's the problem when you start a cult, is to do a bunch of rules. You do a one-sheeter, maybe a pamphlet if it's really good. But for the most part, your rules should fit on one poster. Those are the rules of your cult. I'm no cult leader. I'm just putting it out there. Keep it simple, stupid.
Unarius believes in UFOs, aliens, and they praise the work of inventor Nikola Tesla. But Kevin says,
Man, whack jobs love Tesla.
no way is Unarius a religion or a cult.
If you want to learn more about Unarius, that's wonderful. And if you don't, that's wonderful too.
Unarius estimates they have about 500,000 students worldwide, and the way they gain those students
Increased charismatic factor.
is by making colorful, out-of-this-world videos.
Am I saying 2 slabs of rules are too much? I would say so. I think he could have gotten rid of half those commandments. Some of them are basically repeats anyway. I think they really wanted to get to 10.
All raw tape, raw footage, and there's thousands of tapes here.
In the late 1970s and early 80s, Unarius co-founder Ruth Norman, who calls herself Uriel, asked students to make a series of movies, or
Uriel is the name of one of the angels in the Bible, for those that don't know. Uriel, so she took the name of an angel.
psychodramas, as she calls them. This, for the most part, was not scripted. It was kind of...
None of it was scripted.
Listen, you know, you can be programmed to work on the computer like this idiot.
We would have an outline.
We shall go on to even higher, crowning the lights.
Higher control.
Yes.
Kevin admits that some of the improvisation was not great, but it was an important part of the process.
I love cinema verite.
We weren't doing it to win an Oscar. We were doing it as a part of our own healing.
Unarius teaches that the human soul as we know it is actually just energy that lived in multiple past bodies. The psychodramas were meant to represent scenes from the actors' past lives.
It was just us exploring our own mind.
Kevin says under the direction of Uriel, the costume designs and special effects more than made up for the lack of acting skills, and the colorful psychodramas were then distributed to public access stations across the US to help spread the teachings.
Love is that oscillating energy that holds the worlds together.
I could have sworn Uriel was from somewhere. I'll look it up.
He began this video department and film department at 78 years old.
In a time before YouTube or the internet for that matter, Kevin says that Uriel is a pioneer in grassroots video distribution.
We produce our own
Okay,
film.
you're right. Uriel is from apocryphal texts, so that's my bad. Uriel is in apocryphal texts.
We still do psychodramas, we still give classes.
Art and creativity are a big part of Unarius' teachings, and when Uriel passed away in 1993, she left behind a small legacy. A legacy of creativity and not being afraid of believing in something different. Do some people think you guys are crazy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
Does anyone think you're not crazy?
If you're on a crazy world, isn't that a badge of honor?
No, it's not. It isn't. It isn't. I promise. At least I hope not. Jesus Christ.
The love of life flow unto all mankind and you.
From the Unarius Academy of Science in El Cajon, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
I don't think this is what Jean-Paul Sartre wanted. Alright, what else do we have?
Welcome back into another episode of the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising show, here to help you grow
The mouthful. The Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising show. Yeah, probably pare that down.
in the knowledge and wisdom of truth, and the truth will set you.
Unarius has their own YouTube channel. Oh, hell yeah. Let me find them real quick, and then we'll keep going with this guy's thing. Unarius. Okay. Oh, there's some interviews. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at those. Oh, good. I have this channel saved already. Where did I save this that I don't... Oh, duh, I had them saved under cults. They'd also work for Tinfoil.
You free. We're going to get right back into part 6. We're going to continue on, starting with fleeing from Herod, and we know Herod tried to get the 3 wise men to collude with him to find out where the babe was born and tell him afterwards, but you'll see what happens.
Stupid Herod. You should have looked at the sky! There was a big star telling you right where it was. It was like sat-nav for the ancient times. Lilac Rosenberg says, I'm so upset with the notice that TikTok has come back with thanking Trump for fucking bringing it back. Oh yeah, that's crazy propaganda. Shit's gonna get bad. I'm tuning out for 4 years. That's not probably right, but like, I can't handle it. I can't handle this shit. I can't handle this goddamn world. Everything's a nightmare. I don't even want to be here. I don't want to hear about it.
Fleeing from Herod. When the wise men had departed, behold, the celestial son Gabriel appeared to Joseph, saying, Rise and take the young child and his mother Mary with you and flee to Egypt, and stay there until I shall tell you. For Herod Antipas is planning to seek out the young child to kill him. He fears that the young child might wield terrible power and sorcery. While you are in Egypt, I will send my messenger to Herod Antipas to inform him.
Is he just going to read the Bible?
Your son Gabriel.
Boring.
During those years, I will acknowledging the ancient laws.
And I'm speaking especially this way for you, Dennis, because...
Go about moving trees on YouTube, highly strange. Let me take a look. Moving trees. Like, what is it, a channel name? Is it this? Exo Deadlock, thanks for 31 months, says also tuning out for 4 years. Yeah. The second vid? This one?
Dad, did you see the news? About what? There were some trees caught moving. Huh? Where? Watch this.
I can't see because of the buddy. Come here, buddy.
Okay, this doesn't actually happen. It takes years for trees to move from one place to another. Dad, did you see the news? About what? There were some trees caught moving. Huh? Where? Watch this. Okay, this doesn't actually happen. It takes years for trees to move from one place to another.
That's interesting.
Dad,
what actually is doing it? Because I'm genuinely curious.
I've been seeing these videos.
Landslides? Yeah, I'm assuming it's some sort of geological something, but I have no idea. Or off screen is there machinery? I genuinely don't know.
Trees moving. Now this looks really weird. It was caught on drone footage, as you can see. And it seemed like the trees are moving, or at least one of them trees is moving wildly, or communicating with the other trees. Now they do say that trees do move like 2 to 3 centimeters every couple of years.
Shallow roots and landslides happen. Nature's weird, isn't it?
There's very little room left to deny the fact that ancient cultures throughout the world were all connected in the ancient past. We see depictions of flying machines in Mexico that
are straight up Green Goblining it. Yeah, that's a reasonable sign for a flying machine.
Very similar to the ones of the Vimana we see in India, for example. And there is, of course, also the handbag of the gods. The handbags are literally depicted by every culture on every part of the earth. But how
is it not a bucket? Kind of looks like a bucket.
Can this be? This obviously points to the fact that the world was once connected in ancient times, pretty much like it is today.
What? That's not... No. I hate everyone.
And you never know. Perhaps in a few thousand years, people will look back at this day and age and make similar comparisons regarding mobile phones or something like that.
No!
Seems plausible, does it not? But are we destined to forget the day and now as being unimportant at some point in the future, to the very point we actually forget the timeline of our civilization all over again, just like we have done for thousands of years? Wait till you hear this. How is it possible the ancient Olmecs, Aztecs, Egyptians, and cultures of those in New Zealand shared depictions of their gods which are almost identical? Is
that identical? It's people sitting on a thing that happens to go up like this. I wouldn't call that identical.
It's just random cultural spread? Or is it possible there is more to it than we are willing?
What's the most dangerous or destructive conspiracy? Oh god. Any kind of conspiracy that seeks to dehumanize others? So like NPC conspiracies, stuff like that. Anything that seeks to dehumanize people, which is a kind of a broad category, but there's a decent number of them. Anti-vax, that also is bad.
Willing to accept. The Leventa Steel 19 offers a curious representation of the feathered serpent, a humanoid figure sitting in some kind of vehicle or chair as if manipulating some
vehicle or chair. If you can't tell if it's a vehicle or a chair, maybe it's not a vehicle. Maybe you're stretching a lot. I don't want to watch that one. That's going to be just... Hydrate. Will do. Give me a sec. Okay, scene from Tim Burton's terrible Alice in Wonderland.
The secrets Diana knew. The huge secret that Princess Diana knew. An excerpt from David Icke's book The Biggest Secret. This is only a fractional part of a very long document about the parasitic murdering reptiles known as the Royal Family of England and what Princess Diana discovered about them. Some people may find this totally unbelievable and shocking. There have also been questions about whether Diana is even buried on the island. In the summer of 1998, the Star magazine in the United States quoted an unnamed senior source at Buckingham Palace as saying she was secretly cremated, and according to a report in the Los Angeles Times, some people in the village of Great Brington also don't believe she is buried on the island. I know these reports are true from my own sources. One resident quoted by the LA Times said that the night her coffin was taken to Althorpe for burial, the village had been invaded by the army, police and special forces units, and all the villagers were hustled into their homes. She said that the
That's a good way to do a clandestine conspiracy, is to make sure a lot of people see you doing a suspicious thing. Oh, what else? Oh no, we already did this one, sorry.
Merkel Media.
Only one person you need when you want an opinion on a chair?
Go give it a 5-star review. Go leave a comment where you can. It helps the show grow, and it helps it get deeper into the algorithm where people that don't normally get a hold of the show get a hold of the show. If you're new to the show, hey, wait until you listen to it, and if you feel like it's worthy of a 5-star review or a great comment, go and do it as soon as the show's over with. Also, YouTube memberships are up and running. This is not to give you any new content or keep...
Wow, he's got a Pickle Rick and a Baby Yoda. Wow. Got a whole, like, meme character corner from, like, 2020 to 2023 or whatever.
Anything behind a paywall. This is just for people that have been asking how they can donate to the show. It's one of 2 ways I have available right now to donate directly to the show. Just go to the membership section here on YouTube, and there are 3 different tiers with different perks for each, but generally it's just a way for people of doing so. All right, guys, let's get into the episode. What's up, guys? I am glad to be back with you again this week here at Free the Rabbits, and I'm excited about this episode. I've had quite a few people reach out to me through emails or DMs asking if I was going to do an episode about cloning at some point, and to be honest with you, it didn't really interest me too much, only because cloning is one of those classic conspiracies that pretty much everyone's talked about. But I know that part of the reason that I'm doing this show is to talk about some of these classic conspiracies and talk about it in a different way. You know, I've talked about the Mandela Effect, Project Bluebeam, among others, and many of you reached out to me after those episodes and were thankful that I was able to bring something new to the table, a fresh perspective, because...
Can I express something? Like, this is clearly a show that this guy does regularly. He has 5.9 thousand followers. I've never heard of this guy. The number of random conspiracy shows on the internet that are, like, pro-conspiracy are so much that I have been doing this for years. And every week, I come across some long-running conspiracy podcast or show that I've never heard of with an audience. When I do this show and talk about, like, the structure of conspiracy theories, and their prevalence and why they're bad, it feels like I'm on a sinking Titanic, but I have a bucket and I'm trying to like bail out the fucking ship. And it's just like an insurmountable task. What am I even doing? It's been made very clear that reality and truth do not matter at all. What's the point? What am I doing?
Generally what happens with a lot of these, I call them hot button conspiracy topics, people get really divisive and angry over these topics because they've bought into them completely. And for the most part, I would say
it's not like he has 300,000 subs or 1 million, but there are thousands of these shows. That is what I'm saying. It would almost be better if it was one person with a huge following, because that's one person who can get banned or lose favor with their audience. When you have thousands of random people spreading it, it's a much bigger issue. Ugh.
My audience is very open-minded. However, you know, I do see some of the backlash I get, especially when it comes to some of the more classic conspiracies, only because I try to bring some level of sanity to these conspiracies. And I don't always have it right, guys. And I encourage people to think for them.
Lucas Dawn says, I'm no longer confused as to how Joseph Smith was able to create a religion with very obvious bullshit. Same. I'm also no longer like, how did Hitler and the Nazis rise to power and everything get so bad? I have completely flipped at this point. I totally understand how cults form and how people get into conspiracies. I don't understand how the opposite happens. How has society ever progressed or functioned? I don't understand how things have ever functioned at all about anything other than those things, because people are really, 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 really stupid. I'm not excluding myself from that. We're all a part of this. Like, I don't understand how we even have a civilization. How did we get here? Gitara says, if it makes you feel any better, you're one of my Google debunkers fighting the good fight against ignorance and misinformation, and you're a lot of people's favorite. Well, thank you.
Themselves. You can think completely different than what I put out because I could be wrong. I'm just speaking from my level of research and my experiences. So I can only go on those two things. You know, some people may have a completely different experience than me on said topic and may completely believe it. And I'm totally fine with that, guys. If you think differently than me, it doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean we can't communicate. I think that's something we've got to get out of. And I just see it perpetually over and over again. I mean, we just got out of an election, and that's exactly what people are doing. Angry, fighting, gloating, whatever, right? It's just all the above. And frankly, it does us no good. No good at all. And I think that the conspiratorial community is the exact same way as any other topic that's out there that can have two sides to it or multiple sides. It might be a little bit different than people are talking about. And one of the real society.
Oh my God, he just sits here and talks. He doesn't even have a visual component. Awful. Oh, ew.
There is also
imagine you have access to the collective mind of everyone on the planet. Imagine this collective consciousness is enhanced by artificial intelligence. Imagine the symbiosis of human and machine intelligence. What would you do with it?
Once we decode the language of the brain and connect that to a machine,
Then we can capture and store the essence of a person as data.
We're looking at the end of our bodies as a permanent residence.
Is it that they're making a virtual baby? Why are we making a virtual baby? What the fuck is this crap?
Right? Needs food.
So what, that's some stupid tech bro company trying to sell virtual immortality to people, and conspiracy theorists believe it for no good reason? Seems to be what I'm getting out of that. Okay. Someone give me a conspiracy keyword for us to search. Someone give me anything to search on Rumble, and we'll find some conspiracy theories. Not just like random words. It's like I'm asking for something conspiracy related. Hollow Earth. We haven't done Hollow Earth in quite a while. That might be fun.
So we say Happy Moon Day, and today we're going to talk about Christopher Columbus. And how much of a bunch of nonsense that all is. All history is a lie, that's for sure. We've been lied to on so many levels.
Oh boy, he just said all history's a lie. Oh.
And Christopher Columbus is definitely up that ballpark of being lied to. About how 3 little cute ships came over to America and started the New World. That's what they said. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And all of a sudden, these 3 little ships came over, even though there are already castles and all these buildings already in America.
There were not castles in America prior to European contact. Incorrect.
But it's just funny because that's the story that we've been told. The other funny part about Christopher Columbus is that where are the ships? You know?
The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, they would have been like 400-something years old. They don't last that long. They're wooden ships. They're wooden ships? What do you mean, where are they? What are you talking about?
I would love to see them. Where are they? How come none of...
All of the wood that comprised them degraded and rotted. Do I need, like, what do you expect them to ship of Theseus it? Like, what do you want?
The museums have any of the ships of the infamous Christopher Columbus that we know of? That's the question we should ask today. We should ask, where are those 3 little cute ships that sailed over the ocean blue and allegedly started the New World? And
I'm so what's even the conspiracy here? Because clearly we do have boats. We did have ships. Like, what is the conspiracy? He doesn't think those boats existed, but, like, what is he even positing here?
And that's why when we get into history, we realize history is a complete bunch of nonsense. It's been fabricated by the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds as they made up all their little stories to tell us about how people came over in their cute little ships Meanwhile, when we look at pictures of the old world, we talk all about how
they were also damaged when they were turned and one sunk.
And see how these buildings were made out of granite and all these
like, what's the oldest wooden ship that still exists? I'm actually curious now. I'm gonna look this up. What is the oldest existing wooden ship? Let's see. The USS Constitution. Where is that from? The USS Constitution, also known as Old Ironsides, is a 3-masted, wooden-hulled, heavy frigate of the United States Navy, launched in 1797. So that was 300 years after, almost exactly 300 years after, 305 years after Christopher Columbus's expeditions. So the oldest lasting ship that we still have, which I'm sure has undergone restoration and stuff, is still 300 years newer than the ships from Columbus's time. Like, we just don't have stuff that old in terms of ships.
Limestone and travertine and all these different things, and you start to see that
the Mayflower was turned into a barn and still exists.
Really makes sense for the cute little ships that they told us about.
That's later, though. It is in Fallout 4. In Fallout 4, it has rockets on it. It's a whole thing.
But that's what we'll talk about today, a little bit. But you guys can just comment in here, any questions that you want to ask. I even did a Q&A on our Telegram for anybody who wants to ask any questions. We'll do a whole bunch of fun topics today. Whatever topic you're feeling like talking about, or me to kind of just ramble off on, I will just ramble on. Because there's so much when it comes to history, and all these, like, missing parts of history, and then these weird timelines. Like for example, you have 1776, which was like the starting of the country, and that whole thing that we talk about. And then in the 1850s, you had people who almost go like into the caveman era. And then back after the 1850s, now all of a sudden you have electricity, electric cars.
What is he talking about, the fucking caveman?
You had people who almost go like in 1776, which was like the starting of the country, and that whole thing that we talk about. And then in the 1850s, you had people who almost go like into the caveman era. And then
I have no idea what he's talking about when he says that. What does he mean people in the 1850s were cavemen? No, they weren't. What is he talking about? Nerdy says there's an amazing Swedish ship that was dredged up from the bottom of a bay and put in the museum. It sunk basically because the Swedish king at the time put too many guns on it, and it sunk before it even got clear of the river. That's a bummer.
Back after the 1850s, now all of a sudden you have electricity, electric cars,
Not all of a sudden. You can look at the historical development of these things. They took effort. We know who developed them.
Mercury arc lamps, all this technology that instantaneously just poofs like that, right?
It was far from instantaneous. You're thinking of it as such because you're thinking of it in retrospect, like decades and decades and decades and decades, like over a century later. So to you, it, like, in your head is all, oh, that's one period of time. It's not. It's not, though.
Around the 1800s and 1900s. And then after about World War I and World War II, which are resets, a lot of the information...
They're not. Those are world wars.
...is lost. And it's interesting, too, because they actually, on Instagram, came after my World War II talks. I did some talks on different documentaries about World War II and the other side of World War II, and they actually took my post downs completely.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why. Mr. I think all history is fake had opinions on World War II. I wonder what those opinions were. Cough, 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 definitely Holocaust denialism, cough. He seems to think that 50 years is 1 year. Yeah, he's condensing a large part of history into like a paragraph, and because he can condense several, like, different technological innovations into a paragraph. He's acting as though it happened all at once. Dillis Filler with a link. Oseberg ship. Well-preserved Viking ship discovered in a large burial mound at the Oseberg farm near Tonsberg, Vestfold County, Norway. Ooh. Buried no earlier than 834. Certain parts of its structure date from as early as 800. Wow. That's incredibly preserved. That's cool. H-Bird says he's in luck. He's not going to be taken down anymore on Meta. Ugh.
Which is crazy when you think about it. I've never had my posts actually taken down. I've had them censored, but they actually took them down. So they said that it was pushing hate and pushing bad like information, and they just took them down.
Stop doing bad information then. I hate people. I hate everyone. I'm growing to become this misanthropic monster, and I hate it.
So Instagram is completely upside down when it comes to censorship. And as we can see all the bots joining in, you guys see them all? See how they all just pop in? And we talked about this last week, how many bots are just on these platforms. And we can see them, look at join. This is crazy, actually. This is exactly what I was talking about, where you would think real people are joining the lives, but it's all just bots.
Everyone who disagrees with me is a bot.
And there's so many of them. Look at them all. It says join. You can keep seeing them pop on up. Join. And this is where it gets crazy when you think of that 50% of all the traffic online is robots or AI. So then you have to start to wonder how many people are real that are on these platforms and how many people are robots and AI. And it really kind of twists with your mind. You know, that's the thing. A lot of this is twisting with your mind. You're thinking all these people are joining. Look at it, it's just going nuts, actually. You just keep going crazy with this, but you think that all these people are joining, and then I'm like, oh, look at all the people who are in here. But then you start to see that a lot of them are robots. Somebody just said Eminem is a robot. Yeah, when you get into cloning and that whole thing with the Cabbage Patch Babies and the orphan trains and the clones of the 1900s.
We're on the Cabbage Babies again. Good. Glad that's gaining traction. Can't wait to continue to argue with people about whether or not babies were grown in cabbage patches. This is a very serious planet and society we're living on and in, respectively.
It makes you wonder how many celebrities are clones as well. You know, celebrities are big time. When you get into the whole thing with cloning, celebrities fit this narrative so much. You see these celebrities and they're like tweaking out and they're completely a different person, or they speak differently or whatever else. You have to wonder how many of them are just clones. And, you know, most people don't talk about that. Dolly Sheep, remember that? Dolly Sheep, 1992, I think it was. They were cloning sheeps. So if they could clone a sheep...
They cloned a singular sheep.
Why couldn't they clone a human? Like, why?
Because those are two different things, and they haven't even successfully repeated the Dolly thing. So...
why would they not be able to clone a human if they could?
Ashley1up says, you're not a bot, are you, Hannah? You legally have to tell us if you are. I wish I was a bot. Unfortunately, no. I'm a human being, and therefore live to suffer.
Clone sheep already in the 1990s. And remember, technology that they show us is really like from 100 years before. You know, so they could clone people in 1892, but they do the Dolly sheep cloning, you know, experiments in 1992 and tell us.
He thinks technology is 100 years behind what it really is? No.
Us that the cloning technology is new. But when you get into all these celebs and MK Ultra experiments, because that's what those celebs actually are, you know, you really start to see that there's a lot connected between those. MK Ultra, clones, and celebrities. They're all in that club. They own no money. I don't think people know this, but all those celebrities, they don't got any money. Their money is controlled. Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and all of their little hands, they control all of those celebrities like puppets.
They do not. That's not true. Wow. Bittergrin says, even if they could clone a human, that would just be a near-identical twin who's way younger, not an adult. Yeah, and they wouldn't have any of the same memories. They wouldn't be the same person other than genetically.
They don't got anything. That's why even in the music videos, when
Did I take my meds today? I did. Life is just shit.
They're holding cash. They don't got any money. They don't own anything. Even their houses. And it's funny because I actually met a couple people online who used to be into the making movies and whatever. They don't got anything. Like, it's crazy, actually. Like, it's nuts when you get into that whole thing. Not to mention checking for the Adam's apple. Yeah, you don't know. Those celebrities, they could be something else. You might think they're a man.
This guy's a bingo card in and of himself. Damn.
And then you find out they're a woman. Or you might think they're a woman and you find out they're a man. There's weird stuff. Lots of weird stuff when you get into this. And that's been going on for a long time.
Gillis Filler says we need a label for every tinfoiler that shows their ABV, anti-Semitism by volume.
You know, that whole thing of like man or a woman, who knows what they may be, that's been going on for a long period of time. The confusion has been going on for a long period of time of trickery, of people not knowing who is who. And the gender thing has been going on for a long period of time. That's for sure. You know, I mean, that goes back into all the movie making. I think even that one guy who used to wear a little top hat, I forget what that guy's name was. That was actually a woman, they said. He wore a little Charlie Chaplin? Was that?
First of all, Charlie Chaplin's character of the Tramp wears a bowler hat, not a top hat. Second of all, Charlie Chaplin, not trans. Not trans.
Is that him with the little top hat? They said that was a woman. So
who said that? Who said that? They said that. Someone said it. Oh, that must be true then. Makes sense.
Who knows nowadays? Honestly, with everything and when the first camera allegedly came out, who knows what's what? And all of a sudden,
the first camera? When does he think? Charlie Chaplin didn't invent the camera. The film industry already existed when Charlie Chaplin, it was young. See what this guy does? He takes events and he slams them all together like they happened all at once. Like, Edison's company developed, like, the motion picture camera and projector around early 1900s. Some of the first movies were coming out around, like, 1910. Charlie Chaplin's movies didn't start coming out until like a decade or so later. Something like that. The idea that he thinks these are all the same event is so interesting. He condenses things and simplifies them and flattens them to the point that they're no longer representative of the actual historical events. Yeah, Chaplin was in the 20s, so film had already existed, like, as a commercial endeavor for over a decade. By the time he started performing and making his own pictures.
You think you're watching whatever, and they're actors or actresses, so who knows what they are, that's for sure. Alien Mrs. says, I want to remove heavy metals and repair my gut. Can you tell me what I can do? So with...
Hey, fun fact, you can't remove heavy metals from your body, that's why they're bad. Just a Peach with $1 says, this guy just hates history because it makes him feel bad.
Heavy metals, you can do things like detoxing, like shilajit or dragon's blood to help pull those heavy metals out of the body.
Holy shit, these people are scumbags.
Repairing
just
the gut.
Lying, just saying shit.
You can do things like lion's mane or bone broth would be very helpful for repairing the gut. And then switching to an all-organic diet. Because if you're doing a traditional...
And you know what? This is what people want. People want to be lied to. They want to be told bullshit that makes them feel good instead of actually hearing things they don't want to hear. So you know what? His audience fucking deserves it.
Traditional diet that is not organic, a lot of that food can be laced with heavy metals. And when you start pulling all those heavy metals out, you start feeling really good. You can also look into doing a liver detox.
Hey, fun fact. Supplement products like... For instance, Alex Jones's brand of bone broth, this guy recommended bone broth, was found to contain lead. A heavy metal.
And then you can also utilize a little bit of pearl, which will help boost your glutathione levels so that that liver will start functioning and properly detoxing. Because a lot of the times when people are trying to detox these heavy metals, their liver is not functioning properly. So
your liver cannot, they're heavy metals. They stay in your body. That's why you don't want to get them there in the first place. Nothing you do is going to get them out. That's not how anything works.
You want to get that liver intact, get the lymphatics going, do some breath work, do some sweating. Go out in the sun. Here in Arizona, it's still 105 degrees, so you can sit outside and sweat. But anything to get everything out of you. You can use salts.
Saving this guy.
You can use sea salts. You can use borax. You can use different types of salt to pull things out. Baking soda as well.
Salt? You're going to use salt?
I'm happy you guys are all real. I'm happy every person who's in here is real now. We have officially announced that there are no robots in this channel, even though they're probably still here. They're watching us right now. They're observing, taking notes on our personalities, that's for sure. Rose says, what about autism and the jabs? Is there any way to clear the toxins?
Pounding my head against the wall.
Hey everyone, welcome to Friday Night Live with your Edge of Wonder hosts, Ben and Rob. Well,
wow, we haven't seen these guys in forever. I forgot about these guys.
Oceans and mountains taller than Everest have been found inside the Earth. So has the hollow Earth theory been confirmed? We're definitely going to talk about that tonight.
No.
Yeah, and there's also a new Disney-themed Mandela effect about...
Janardi says, I've mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. As someone once said, if your body is so toxic your liver and kidneys can't detox your body, you don't need a new diet, you need a hospital immediately.
Bambi. Everyone agrees they were collectively horrified as children, but mysteriously, the events that caused the sad memories are now up for debate. What do you
remember?
Yeah.
And bizarre news. Costco not only sold, but actually sold out of gold. Why has gold been so important over time, and why in Sam Hill is Costco selling it? Let's dive into the history of this, because the info I found on precious metals, ancient civilizations, Plato, and Atlantis is actually going to blow your mind.
James says, I was going to ask how you do this every day without losing your mind, but then I remember that I teach teenagers for a living. The answer is, I do lose my mind. My mental health is very bad.
Yeah, in celebrity news, Tupac's killer has Tupac's killer finally been found.
Only been 27 years. I mean,
yeah. Did he actually die is the other question.
Yeah.
But join us on this Friday Night Live for discussions on all of this, plus Rise.tv exclusive segments, a live Q&A, and of course...
How good was it before all this conspiracy stuff? Not great, but it was better.
Our top 10 weirder news of the week. So we'll see you guys out
on the edge of Tupac.
Yeah. And are you listening to our Edge of Wonder podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or elsewhere? Please leave us a 5-star rating and review to help us even reach more people. And of course, also remember to like, follow, subscribe on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Ganjing World, Twitter, all the above.
Well, when Tupac was alive, there was this whole West Coast, East Coast thing going on. You had Big E over here in the East Coast. You had Tupac over there on the West Coast. Of course, Tupac wasn't from the West Coast, so none of that made sense. But
you don't see her get shot, but you see Bambi's reaction, which is almost worse.
Throughout our world, few places are more remote and mysterious than the continent of Antarctica. Spanning over 5 million square miles, this mass of land and ice is over twice the size of Australia, yet it holds a grand total of 0 permanent residents. Its brutally frigid conditions and strict visitation laws have made it impossible to fully explore, leading many
Its laws are just literally don't leave trash.
To question what secrets it may be hiding in its icy landscape.
This isn't stream related, but it's short and amusing, so I had to share.
How hard was it to discover that you had a scary resemblance to Kermit the Frog?
It was way scarier than you think, because
at the same time that happened, I was plagued by all sorts of frog occurrences. And so that was synchronicity. God, it was weird and awful. But it started out really funny because when I first posted my lectures on YouTube, I noticed now and then that someone would say, he sounds like Kermit, and I thought, yeah, no. And then I listened and I thought, oh my God, I sound a lot like Kermit. And then I got associated with Peppy the Frog, and that was pretty bloody weird. And then my Indian carver friend made me a frog mask, and I made a video with that on, and the frog mask looked a lot like Peppy, even though he didn't even know who Peppy was, so that was bloody weird. And then Dad bought a Peppy flag and flew it at the lake. It's like this 80-year-old guy, Peppy. It's like... Jesus.
Man, that's I hate.
In the mid to late 1950s, the United States was heavily invested in nuclear technology, and specifically nuclear weapons. In the midst of the Cold War, it was imperative for the country to gain superior knowledge on the subject than the Russians. Because of this, the United States was constantly building and experimenting on all things nuclear. Over the course of the Cold War, over 1,000 nuclear devices were fired as part of US government experiments, with few being as controversial as the experiments conducted in Operation Argus. The main goal of Argus was to test the effects that nuclear weapons had in colder, high-altitude regions. With these experiments, an estimated 3 nuclear missiles were fired in the vicinity of Antarctica. However, the results of this experiment were never finalized, and the whereabouts of the location in which the missiles hit is still very much a mystery. Following this test, the task force in charge of the program was quickly dissolved, and the majority of the documents associated with the project were destroyed. Included in these documents was also the film reel that would have shown actual footage of the tests. So this alone is pretty sketchy. The destruction of evidence, the hiding of evidence as to what happened there, is something that definitely raises some red flags, but it's also something that's not too surprising for that time period. But where this whole situation gets very strange is when you take a look at a previous mission that took place in Antarctica that has confused the public to this day. In 1946, the United States Navy sent troops to Antarctica to supposedly set up a military base and to train them for cold weather conditions as part of Operation Highjump. Now, this wasn't a small convoy or anything like that. All in all, 4,700...
How do they know it was destroyed? I was wondering the same thing. Where are even the claims of this happening coming from if all the evidence was destroyed?
Troops were sent up to the frigid landscape in December of that year. The operation lasted just barely a few months as the weather conditions supposedly got too severe. Which, I mean, I'm not sure what they were expecting there, if we're being honest. I mean, it's Antarctica.
Yeah, it's severe relative to what they were expecting for Antarctica, you pedantic cunt.
In total, it was reported that 4 men lost their lives in the short expedition. However, some believe that the number is actually much higher than that, and that in their time up there, the United States Navy was attacked. It is theorized that upon the trip through the harsh landscape of Antarctica, the brigade was attacked by unknown crafts which forced them to retreat out of the area. The attack was highlighted in a now leaked Soviet report where KGB agents had gained knowledge from US soldiers present at the site of the attack. The US soldiers claimed that while they were being attacked by these hostile forces, they reportedly opened fire on the crafts, ultimately shooting one down into the water below. However, the advanced technology of these crafts proved way too much for the fleet to handle, and they were forced to retreat after losing several aircrafts and men in the attack.
I like that they're depicting it as an attack by a flying saucer, even though they have not verbally said it's any kind of alien. Okay, moving on.
I understand that your dear father changed worlds just a couple of days ago.
Right.
And as soon as our classes...
It was Shoggoths? I don't get it. Normal Gamer Gal, thanks for 16 months, says, haven't been able to tune in for a while, but I'm glad to be back. Hope you're doing okay. I know it's tough for everyone right now. Good to see you again. I'm having a rough time.
over tonight. You're going up there to help.
Anyway, Twitch subs can join after the show, or the after show. Sorry, that's not how it works. I can only do YouTube members and paid patrons. I can't set up a thing that just targets Twitch subscribers. I would do that if I could. I can't.
Your mother and your brothers, so they don't enter into the pits of gloom and negation and self-pity. That's all. When they feel sorry, when they're so gloom and mourn people, all it is self-pity. And so I understand you're going up to help them. And so I was especially talking about this wonderful thing of transition, going into the next level for your benefit. But I understand you've had a beautiful experience with your father who's on the Astral. Would you want to tell my camera?
I'd love to. First of all, I'm looking forward to going back to see my family with just a sense of anticipation and great joy, because today especially I really had the sight of my father and where he is right now, and having made the transition to the inner worlds, letting go of all the frustrations of his earth life, and coming to me today with this thought of, I had no idea. I had no idea it was this wonderful. And I even said out loud, that's what I've been trying to tell you, but he knows now. And that was just the most beautiful, overwhelming feeling of love for my father. And I, again, said out loud, I love you, Dad. I'm so thrilled that you are, where you are, and that you're able to be awakened to your own spiritual understanding. And I know that he'll come back in a few years to come, prepared and ready to take on his own mission and overcome much of what he was unable to overcome in this last incarnation. So it was just the most incredible experience, Uriel, and I'm just so grateful, because I have this tape that I'm taking back that I'm going to be handing to my mother, and I keep thinking, one of the first things I'm going to say to her is, now are you ready for the good news? I was just like, do you want to know where...
That had to have been an uncomfortable conversation, because she's almost certainly not in the cult. So her son's going to come home, and she's a widow now, sad about the passing of her husband, no doubt. And he's going to be like, no, I talked to him. He's on the astral plane, and she's got to, deal with that. Ugh.
He is and what's going on right now, and it's just, I can't wait to get back and let her know that, because I know she's aware enough of the principles to be completely open to it and to know the truth of that, and so it's going to be so meaningful for her.
Dinosaur, thank you so much for gifting 20 tier 1 subs to the community. So generous of you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to help support the channel as well, you can always use bits messages, become a subscriber yourself, and no longer get ads here on Twitch, or gift subs. All of them help tremendously. I couldn't do the show without the support, so thank you.
See, it's true, very, very true. When people
Nemesaur gets an executive producer credit.
Begin to understand the science, the principle, their life changes completely. And I'm so glad that Dionysius here was able to relate some of the principles to his father before he returned to Florida. I'm very glad for your mother, who's going to have your presence and your knowledge shared with her. So do you have some other questions?
I sure do.
You'd like to ask?
We were talking about past life therapy, and there are a lot of organizations and groups that are delving into past lives, but they use what they call past life regression. Is that something that Unarius teaches? What is the difference between?
No, we do not. We do not regress people into their past life. There is no hypnosis needed. It's very helpful and meaningful to the individual when his mind can hypnosis. I would not recommend hypnosis for anyone unless the one doing the hypnotizing will tell the individual afterwards what he has said, or listen or hear his tape. He will have no way of knowing anyway what was said.
She's very concerned that you're going to be tricked during hypnosis. That's kind of adorable.
But the thing is, will he always tune back to the problem? Very often he doesn't tune to the problem. He will just tune into some past life where he has had a
accidentally based too. I'm glad she's concerned for people. That's just not really how hypnosis works. You're gonna remember it. You can have memories implanted, that is a thing, but you'll remember it.
Life of enjoyment or just a physical
Thank you, Liberate
lifetime.
Yourself. Appreciate you.
The importance is to dig out the negations. Now, in our conscious mind, we have no way of knowing. The average person, if he was to ask or to believe that he'd ever been some kind of an individual who would torture or murder a person. Oh, who, me? No, never. I've been a good person, and we all like to believe we have been good people. But frankly, when we really get into past life therapy, we can forget about that we've been so perfect, because we will see ourselves. We will see what we have done. The pictures will come into our mind. The brothers will work with us, and we will find we have been into wars and famines and sickness and incurable diseases.
I just noticed her little fruit scarf. Very cute. Minute and a half left on the hype train.
Man on Earth.
Let's see what else we got. Let's move on. Minute left on the hype train. Bittergrin, thanks for 100 bits. Appreciate ya. Is Elon Musk controlled opposition? I kind of wanted to watch some Gangstalking videos. Those are interesting. Unstable Deadbeat, thanks for 100 bits and saving the hype train, level 5 complete. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Experience being...
This is pretty sad. Let's watch this video. This is about people who believe they're targeted individuals. This is a conspiracy in which people think they're being followed and watched and surveilled. It is most often a symptom of a mental illness. MH Darkbeast, sorry I missed your bits. Let me look. Oh, your bits didn't go through. That's why. Is she the Queen of Cuckoo Town? Specifically with the case, yes.
Stalked and targeted like this.
The first time I experienced it
is that I didn't cover gang stalking. From time to time, it's definitely something that you have to be careful with. I trust Vice to cover this reasonably, which is why we're watching the Vice video. What I don't like is looking at random people who believe they're being gang stalked without vetting it, because it can come pretty close to being exploitative of the mentally ill. This is an investigative report by a news organization, so I trust it to at least tackle the subject reasonably well.
When I was walking down the road, people started to follow me.
Because if you're a TI, you're in an assassination program.
It's like a worst nightmare that you know you end up waking up from.
Trying to explain this in a way that's understandable.
Yeah, drug use can cause paranoia.
I've got moving implants attached to my skeleton, enabling me to be controlled remotely.
Beyond point one is unsafe.
I've got stuff in my body because I've had beeps going off inside my head.
Any normal person would go, are you all right? Do you know what I mean? Are you sure that you're feeling all right? Because you're talking crazy.
An estimated 10,000 people around the world are all reporting the exact same terrifying experience.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms.
It's interesting how these particular delusions have evolved over time with technology, because it used to be people would think the government was controlling them with like radio waves and stuff, or monitoring them with radio waves because that was sort of the technology of the time. The belief that they're being surveilled by black helicopters is a pretty big trope in this community. You may have seen that. But nowadays, a lot of, because of, you know, digital technology, electronics everywhere, tracking in your phones and stuff, it much more has to do with delusions of being monitored, of your house being bugged, of, you know, being surveilled in those more modern technological ways. Kind of interesting.
But after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon. Residents
Minute and a half left on the hype train.
Say,
consider gifting subs if you can. I know Nemasaur's done a lot of that lately, which I always appreciate. But it's always, I think, a little unfair that Nemasaur does the most of it. I feel bad for Nemasaur, because Nemasaur's always so generous with the gift subs.
Targeted individuals.
They say they're being monitored, manipulated, and even tortured.
This is not a joke. This is not science fiction.
Because people know nothing about mind control. They don't know that your thoughts can be changed.
Through the internet, they've validated each other's experiences, and a community has formed.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
They call themselves...
This is like the epitome of what we've talked about, where in the past, conspiracy theorists would have been more isolated, and people around them might have been a check on their sanity. But now, because of the internet, you can network with other people with the same delusions, and when other people have the same delusions as you, it bolsters them. You go, oh, I'm not the only one who believed this. I can't be crazy. Which, of course, is fallacious, because multiple people can share the same delusion. Well, thank you, everyone. Bumble Homestead, thanks for gifting a sub. Freyline, thanks for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. Unstable Deadbeat, thanks for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. I really appreciate it. I wasn't trying to, like, be a dick either about the gift subs thing. I appreciate it. I just know Nemasaur helps support the show so much. And honestly, I'll be honest, that scares me a little bit. That scares me a little bit sometimes. It's like, what if Nemasaur just decided to not like me one day? And it's like, I'm over it. I'm fucked. Anyway, thank you, Nemasaur, and thanks everyone else who supports the channel. I really appreciate it.
Targeted individuals.
This is a death camp. This is a concentration camp.
Oh, interesting. Note the tinfoil in her background. The Gangstalking community are the ones who most likely are the ones that actually use tinfoil. Not joking. Out of all of the conspiracists that we look at, these kind of people, the Gangstalking people, are the ones that tend to be into using tinfoil hats or lining the walls with tinfoil because they believe they're being monitored by the government, or that the government's controlling their thoughts and they think they can block it using tinfoil. Normal Gamer Gal, thanks for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. Much, much appreciated. 91% to level 7.
Concentration camp.
I will expose you one day. I don't care who you are or who you think you are or who you're connected to.
People don't even realize. People will never realize until it's too late.
Yeah, where would you like me to take you?
So we're going to the Bouverie Conference Hall. This is a major UK event organized by Britain's leading targeted individual, Kieran. It features other groups who are highlighting the abuse of covert technology.
Okay.
A lot of them complain about apparently finding things inside their bodies, like implants and bits of technology. What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of science fiction, and perhaps they've seen one or two Bourne trilogies too many.
Day one, take one. I'm standing here today because the person who should be standing here has been murdered. Max Spears was part of a program of extremely secret enhanced human beings. This involves involuntary use of implants, and we have another gentleman here in this room called Kieran Lee Perrin. Kieran Lee Perrin is part of the British targeted individuals program. He's got implants inside his head. These are things you can actually see and measure. Lots and lots and lots of people now have these implants in their head.
All right, let me see it. Let me measure it.
But if we do
I
not...
feel bad being confrontational about their beliefs in this particular case. They're not just flat earthers who maybe have like a personality disorder that's causing them to really strictly believe something. These are people with paranoid delusions to the point that it's like causing them severe distress. So
not engage this problem, we as humans are finished.
Max Spears had died just a few weeks before the conference, and that created a ripple of anxiety throughout the community.
See, that sucks so much too, because any time someone in this community passes away, regardless of the cause, whether it's natural causes or a random car accident or whatever it happens to be, they're gonna think it's part of the conspiracy. They're always gonna say, oh, that death was them sending a message to the rest of us. How sad.
Yeah, that's right. You said it before when we were speaking on the phone, that the truth movement is gaining ground, and you've seen
it on the hype
and that
train.
inspired you to hopefully get back involved again, I hope, Dave. If a TI on his own as an individual...
Overthought, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Wow, great hype train, thank you.
...approaches authority...
I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for the support. Really, thank you.
Dismiss.
I couldn't do my show without you guys.
It's a lot more difficult.
At this stage, we've heard a lot of talk about what a targeted individual is. I mean, everyone's heard someone make a string of unbelievable statements like that. But when you hear that person say it, and then you look around and you're in a room with 60 other people all nodding in agreement, that is a weird feeling.
Miles Johnston, the head of the conference, broadcasts videos about targeting to millions of viewers worldwide.
Hello, hey, and welcome. This is my little studio. The whole point about this...
I swear to God, when they walked in there for a second...
and welcome. This is my little...
When we just saw this, for a split second, my brain thought that was some weird sex rig. I didn't realize that was his lighting rig, which is way over the top for lighting for what he's doing. That's an insane lighting rig for, like, streaming. That's crazy. No one needs that in their house. But I thought that was like part of a sex swing or something. I'm not joking. That was my first thought was, oh, is that like something you connect like straps to?
Studio. The whole point...
Look at that! Look at this lighting! No one... Why did he spend this... am I jealous of the lighting rig? Not really. I would never have that in my house. Like, I don't have the best lighting, but, like, no one needs this. That's absurd. Gitara says, Chud voice, I would never let the corrupt deep state put a chip in my brain or anywhere in my body. That's why I'm against 5G and vaccines. Oh wait, Daddy Elon is putting chips in brains? Revolutionary. Amazing. I want one. Yeah, they're like stage lights. Those are gonna be hot.
Point about this place is to when I interview people not have a whole lot of tripods and cables and things. So I decided to put this thing up here, which is solid. I'm also an archiver, so I have a lot of stuff on audio reel. So we'll...
He's fucking recording on magnetic tape? Imagine if I recorded all my shows on VHS. That's the equivalent of what he just said.
But this is just only...
How can you trust my opinions now? That's the secret. You shouldn't.
Oh. And there's our TV studio.
Do you think that so many people would think that they were targeted if they hadn't seen your stuff through the internet?
Remember, these are people who have had very strange experiences in their lives. The proof is now coming through with MRI scans. That's physical, tangible results and evidence.
How many views do your videos get?
I think I'm 13 million or something.
So what are you setting up for now?
I'm setting up to do a quick fast blast based on the latest information I've got about Max.
You'll never forgive me for Jackbox. Wait, what happened with Jackbox?
All the people I've interviewed in bases over the last 20 years, very terrible things have subsequently happened to them because what they're talking about is real, it's dangerous, people's lives are affected, and people die in this thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, you shouldn't have been so trusting, Trey.
Max was
talking about the Jackbox games we played. I don't remember when that was, if it was a patron-only stream or what.
Major figure in the targeted community, and he was recently found
Minute
dead
left on
in
the
a
hype
villa
train.
in
This
Warsaw.
hype train's been going on forever. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate y'all.
He was 39 and had no known health conditions, but a Polish doctor pronounced him dead of natural causes. But the targeted individual community believed that because of what he knew, Max was assassinated.
That doesn't even make sense, because he doesn't know anything more than all of you people do, which is nothing, because it's delusions.
Miles took it upon himself to keep everyone informed about the ongoing investigation.
There's a major problem as to the time of death of Max Spears.
Normal gamer
Max's
gal,
mother
thanks for gifting a sub to Mr. Duck Sauce.
feels that she's been stonewalled and effectively blocked from really finding out what happened to Max. Gone, but not forgotten.
Another well-known target Miles has interviewed regularly is Kieran Lee Perrin.
Hey, Kieran. How's it going? Good to see you too. Hey, how's it going? Will you take them for a walk?
Yeah, they're due.
Yeah, I noticed they're not saying the age of the guy
someone's
either.
being targeted, if they possibly can, is to get a dog or something like that. It enables you to maintain routine.
So are you yourself a targeted individual?
Oh, yes.
What does that mean?
Thank you for
Well,
the
it's a
hype
very
train, everyone.
Broad
Appreciate it.
statement these days. Some people that I'm dealing with, they deal with gangstalking predominantly, manipulation of their lives by others. The ones at the more extreme end, like myself, we're dealing with technological manipulation, which is V2K, voice-to-skull technology.
Wow, okay.
So I can be communicated with in
Yeah, this is people hearing voices in their head. Auditory hallucinations are a common form of hallucination with things like schizophrenia. Often in media, it's depicted as seeing things. That's not usually the case. When people do have visual hallucinations, they won't be solid necessarily most of the time. It'll be stuff like shadow people. But auditory hallucinations are vivid. They sound real. They sound incredibly real to people who have them. So that's why you'll often hear about them having this like radio to skull technology, because they're hearing things in their head and they think they're being communicated with, but in reality it's themselves. It's their own delusions. It's their schizophrenia, unfortunately. Hydrate, will do.
my head.
What does that feel like? Are you hearing voices inside your head?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. It's literally a loud voice. I mean, it's in some scientific journals described as the voice of God technology. Phoebe, what's wrong with this? Oh, I see. They're in season. Phoebe, I know that they're in season. So.
I come and say hi to you, but because you're in the middle of something.
I am a mind control target.
Oh, I see.
So I've got ICT implants in my head.
Okay.
You've known me for years now. It's why I don't work. It's why I'm always walking around the park. They've been giving me money.
Believing they have implants is another pretty common delusion. If you've ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe, which is a pretty enjoyable movie, they depict that form of delusion as well. He believes he has an implant in his arm, and he, like, digs his arm up, trying to, like, find it.
Money for years, and it was government doctors that examined me and saw my scans and said, you're telling the truth, but don't ever come back here again. And they gave me a flat and some money, but nobody will talk to me.
Have you ever encountered this?
Sounds like he went for some sort of, like, mental health check to get on benefits or something, because I would imagine he has difficulty functioning, you know? And he's in the UK, where there are more social services for stuff like that. So I assume he got checked out. The doctor recognized that he was suffering from severe delusions and okayed him for, like, a council flat and, you know, some monthly stipend or whatever.
This sort of thing before with anyone?
I hope I don't.
It's done via satellite. It's done via satellites.
Oh, okay.
Trees.
And then they're gathering
It's
data,
going off globally. I can be hooked up to a wireless network too. It's military technology.
So are you being controlled?
I can be, yeah.
Oh, okay. So who's controlling you then?
That's a $64,000 question. We have the answers to all that. At its core, it will be military, but there are lots of corporate companies involved as well.
I thought it only exists in the film, but...
Yeah, well, that's why they make films about it, so people think that.
Yeah, I'll let you get on with your work then.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
It was difficult for me to believe the things Kieran was saying, but he was saying them with such certainty that questioning him felt uncomfortable.
So what's on this USB?
Several frames of the MRI scans I had done from 2 machines.
So this is your brain?
Yeah.
And what are we looking at?
The implants here.
I wonder if they're going to show this to an actual doctor and have them say what these structures actually are, because I imagine they're a typical part of the brain or something that he's misreading as implants.
CT implants here, in the red boxes, essentially, and that's them blown up.
Have you had a doctor look at these?
Oh, yeah. My dentist, who's PhD level educated, he
oh, no, his dentist!
He just said, look, you don't need any medical training whatsoever to see that these are foreign bodies. So
okay.
All respect in the world to dentists. I could use one myself, but I don't think they're qualified to read MRIs. You know?
That's the real game changer, that probe. And you can see the fragments.
Yeah, also PhD. Dentists don't typically have a PhD. They have a DDS or, yeah, an MD. They don't typically have PhDs in dentistry.
Another one which has been broken.
And have you ruled out every other possibility before thinking that they might be implants?
Oh, absolutely. I've used all this stuff in defending myself in official situations. The reports I've got on both MRI scans say there are no abnormalities showing. They were trying to discredit me, saying that I needed psychiatric treatment, and they were covering it up.
What's this?
Now, this is to show you the...
Have you considered that it's not a cover-up and you need psychological treatment? Jesus Christ.
The implant that was removed.
Is this something that's come from a targeted individual's body?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So,
They'll pull things out of their body that are part of their body.
Did the targeting stop when he got this chunk of flesh removed?
No.
Do you have any plans to get your implants removed?
I've been trying. Look at the top of my back, by the way. Can you see it?
What are we looking for?
These lumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to operate on that on myself. And
oh, no!
Ear as well. Doctors refused to operate on me, so I did it in my bathroom with scalpels and 2 mirrors.
No!
Sounds...
It's just back knee. It's just back knee. I mean, it probably is scar tissue now because he went to town on it, but it probably started as just bumps or like back, you know, pimples or something. He got paranoid about it and started... Ugh.
Dangerous.
Well, I got a piece of wood, put it between my teeth, and I sliced them off. But take this on board. Look at my mouth. Can you see on this one? There's a round cylindrical thing. And he said, look, that is totally unnatural. A drill does not make round cylindrical things. It looks to me as though you've got something under that filling, which again is quite possibly a microphone.
So how else do you sort of show people that these implants are real?
Well, my doctor, for instance, as I mentioned earlier, I allowed him to palpate them with his fingers at the back of my mouth. I could have you do it now.
Yeah.
Stop calling your dentist your doctor. Like, I get it. A dentist is a dentist. Like, I get it. They still get called doctor. Like, they're a doctor. I'm not saying they're not, but they're not a medical doctor. They're not a doctor of internal medicine. They're a dentist. They are not colloquially referred to as your doctor.
Sure.
Gitara says it's a good thing he did that. He would have executed Order 66 and went after those folk who think they're channelers and or telekinetic.
Like that. Do it like that.
Okay, in the name of journalism. I'm not...
hang on. You need to press the...
Don't just stick your fingers in people's mouths without...
Okay.
I know he has his consent, but I'm uncomfortable. I don't consent to watching him stick his fingers in this man's mouth.
Is it both fingers at the same time?
Okay.
Let's try one. Let's do one at a time. I'm not feeling anything yet.
That's actually where you can find a reset button. If you put both fingers back here and just hit up for 3 seconds, that's the reset button.
There's something hard in there.
Try again.
I feel something there, definitely.
Press hard.
Okay. I don't want to hurt you.
Right.
That right there. That thing right there.
Yeah. That's an implant. I will go to a surgeon and be opened up, but I need a surgeon. I'm not going to let a car mechanic, start opening me up.
Has there ever been a moment where you thought maybe this isn't real?
What do you mean?
Like, has there ever been a moment where you thought that you believed the people who said, this isn't true, I don't believe you?
D for DOA, what are we watching? This gentleman believes he's being gang stalked. He has delusions, basically.
Well, I don't have that problem now.
Why not?
Because everybody believes me.
Is that because you found a community of people who are also targeted? That you've found a group of people who believe
it's
you?
because of the scams. I wish I was mad. I wish I had a mental illness. I do. I wish I was...
That's your G-spot location. Did you star in the film Deep Throat by chance? Big fan.
Psychotic. I wish I was bipolar. I wish I was anything because I could get treatment for that. For this, I can't.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever done in my life. I mean, I put my index finger all the way into his mouth to feel the back of his molars.
We met another target at the conference called Fiona, who attempted to avoid targeting by keeping on the move. She was about to move again because she believed a directed energy weapon was being beamed at her friend's apartment.
Tinfoil hat, people, wear these. It does help a little bit, but it's just short-lived. This is the most important thing. This cost me $1,300, but it's well worth it because it's kept me...
Karante 8 says, having schizoaffective disorder myself, more serious version of these things plays out often where I live. I know a couple who literally believe they wrote famous songs. Yeah, that'll happen. Fortunate.
Alive.
So do you carry this around with you?
Yeah, everywhere.
You must have really strong muscles.
And every time at customs they say, "Come open your bag, madam." They know me. They say, "Oh, it's you again with the lead," and they all laugh. And I tell the customs, I say, "Yes, I'm a targeted individual," and they say, "Oh, yeah."
Oh, sorry. Did she have a literal tinfoil hat that I missed?
Every time at customs they... It does help a little
Okay,
bit.
she did have a literal tinfoil hat I missed because I was reading chat. Wow, look at that.
But it's just short-lived. This is the most important thing. This cost me $1,300, but it's well worth it because it's kept me alive.
So do you
spent $3,000 on a blanket? Oh God, I'm assuming it's a blanket that claims to. Oh, it's like a lead. Is it like one of those lead vests, basically, that they put on you at the dentist when they're taking X-rays? Jesus.
Carry this around with you?
Yeah.
Don't apologize. I don't know why you're apologizing, Poco Karante.
Everywhere.
You must have really strong
Oh,
muscles.
1.3. She said, okay.
And every time at
$1,300. Sorry,
they
I
say,
misheard.
"Come open your bag, madam." They know me. They say, "Oh, it's you again with the lead," and they all laugh. And I tell the customs, I say, "Yes, I'm a targeted individual," and they say, "Oh, yeah." But
So it helps you to just be directly underneath this. Do you sleep in it?
Directly, yes, I sleep with it. I sleep with it. And in fact,
I like a weighted blanket, so that might be comfortable. The lead doesn't matter, but like weighted blankets are nice. You ever been under a weighted blanket?
But if it's my head that's
because of the distraction. No, you're good. You're good. My fault.
the important things. But yeah, I sleep, and if I'm on the ground with this over me, I'm really good. Because whatever comes through this, I can ground it. But up on the second floor here, it's difficult. Well, if I'm moving, walking through London, I'm sort of okay. Moving is the best thing, because whatever's focused at me, it has to keep trying to catch up with me. And
what are these?
The thyroid is very susceptible to being damaged by radiation. And this, again, is my very glamorous nightwear.
Kind of afraid she's gonna start taking like iodine pills or something.
Balaclava, sledge, but
you feel like you're being suffocated by weighted blankets? That's the best part. You don't like to be suffocated? Would recommend.
It's the head a lot. And occasionally I have fallen asleep on a bed without these because I've been so exhausted, and I wake up an hour later and it's not pretty, so I do always remember. I'm really not coming across very well. I'd be better off downstairs talking outside.
Yeah.
All right, let's head downstairs
They
then.
make weighted
Wouldn't normally
plushies?
sleep
That's
in
cute.
a house on the second floor.
Ever think it might be easier if you stayed in one place?
Yes, I would like to, but, you know, you can't function. Can I sit in the sun over there?
Yeah, of course.
When once you're on the hit list, and once you know a few things, and especially if you talk, you know, it's not likely that they're going to say, oh, let's let Fiona off. She's had enough suffering.
So who are they?
Don't even know if it's people. I just know. How could I know? I just know that there is electromagnetic radiation being beamed at me.
YouTube stream died? Oh, probably because watching the Vice clip. Carp Cozy, and thanks for a 3-stream streak, says, take care of each other. Weimar America ends tomorrow noon Eastern. Oof. Big oof.
Me, and I'm followed.
Really?
I saw a doctor yesterday to have this implant removed. This is only a couple of years ago. It's state-of-the-art nanotech, because even though I would still be targeted without the...
I'll move on to the next video so the YouTube stream will restart soon. Don't forget, after this, we are doing a Patreon and YouTube member only stream. That's loud, sorry.
Just our common sense everyday perception of the Earth, it is flat as far as we can tell. It is motionless as far as we can tell. And everything in the sky is revolving around us.
Yeah, I'll give you a link to the Vice clip. Sorry about that. Ooh. Here's the link. Yeah, the lack of care for people with severe mental illness is disgusting. It's really, really gets to me. Where was the thing we were about to watch? I just had it. There it is.
As far as we can tell. If nobody told us otherwise, we'd logically assume that the Earth was flat, motionless, with everything in the sky revolving around us. And you can prove that this is the case as well, for instance, with the horizon. As you rise up, no matter how high you go on the top of Mount Everest, or if you go in a balloon higher and higher, we've gotten independent balloons have gone up with cameras. The horizon remains flat all the way around and rises to the eye of the camera all the way up. Totally flat and rises to the eye of the observer.
I don't understand what they mean by that. Why do they always say that? Rises to the eye of the observer. I genuinely have no idea what flat earthers mean when they say that. And they always say it. Do they just mean like the optical effect? That like the higher you go, the further away you're gonna see the horizon, so it always appears to be in more or less the same space, at least on Earth? Like as you get further away, that's not gonna be true. It might be true, kind of, on the surface, but... Anyway.
I want to take a moment to remind everyone about the biggest deception being perpetrated on the human race. No one talks about it because people don't believe it could be real, rapid human cloning. From this deception, every other deception is made possible. The information I share comes directly from Judith's telepathic Pleiadian contact. It can't be researched on the internet. This information will...
There was an anime last season called Orb about the church persecuting heretics who believe the earth revolves around the sun, and I've heard nothing but good things. It's a shame I'll never see it, because it's anime.
Contradict other information you've heard. But if you
Welcome back, YouTube. How you doing?
Consider what I'm saying. It will make more sense than anything else. First, a reminder that years before any conspiracy theorists talked about doubles or actors in masks, I was here talking about cloning. Still, many people reject this information because it's too strange. Truth is stranger than fiction, but it is because fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities. Truth isn't. Mark Twain. Rapid cloning was given to the U.S. military in the 1950s by Zeta Grays on behalf of Negative Orion reptilians. The military
Thanks, Negative Orion reptilians. Sophie Bliss, thanks for $5 says YouTube strike equals $5 bonus. Thank you. I actually didn't get a strike. It just paused the stream, but thank you.
Industrial complex is controlled by a satanic cabal that allowed elites to use this technology to their advantage. From a person's DNA, they can grow a duplicate body in 5 months.
As a weeb, I must respect Hannah's resistance against us. You'll never crack my shell. The weebs and the furries, I'm immune!
They can transfer memories to a clone body and program it with speech patterns and mannerisms. The clone is a biological duplicate without DNA, without the ability to reproduce.
If it doesn't have DNA, how is it a clone? A clone is someone who has the same genetics as someone else who they got the genetic material from. They have no DNA, how are they a clone?
Sometimes with added technology. A clone is not an exact match, because our appearance is a result of both genetics and years of experiences in life. There are physical differences between the clones. The first celebrities were cloned for financial gain in the 1970s, and it spread to in the 1990s. By the 2000s, it was everywhere in media and industry. It started with the military and is done in black site NSA facilities worldwide. Only black hats use cloning, never white hats. It's about money and control. There are many A-list celebrities that use clones in movies or to perform on stage. Not everyone who uses clones is a Satanist. Some were just tricked into thinking they could achieve immortality. Some good people have been replaced with evil clones. In the modern era, there have been many secretists, and the cabal uses clones to replace their own. Nobody will disclose cloning because it's too hard for regular people to believe.
That doesn't make any sense! What do you mean it's too hard for people to believe? If it was true, all you'd have to do is bring out, like, here's Matthew McConaughey, and here's Matthew McConaughey 2.0, the clone that we made. Like, you could prove it. There's nothing so unbelievable that you can't prove it if it's true and you have evidence. Like, that's how evidence works.
There is no show of white hats using doubles or clones. White hats arrest. Black hats replace their own. No one wants to tell us the truth, for different reasons. People like Trump have hinted about it, saying that people like Biden, Xi, and Putin are different men and look different. Doesn't know he's alive or using words like puppet. There are many clones dispersed through the populations of many countries, who are very docile and obedient citizens.
If that ever happened, conspiracy theorists would say that it was just a twin, not a clone. Then you bring out 5, 6, 7, 23 Matthew McConaughey's. You bring out as many Matthew McConaughey's as you have to until they believe you.
This is what the cabal wants for the planet. The black and bruised eyes can signify cloning update.
Just a peach with $1 says they just like when people change their minds or they just like when people change their minds or age. Was that supposed to be don't like?
They connect technology to the brain through the eye and transfer new information to the clone. Only important clones in media or industry are updated. They still use the eye, but now some clones are updated through their foot. This is why some notable people wear orthopedic boots or are seen limping. Cloning doesn't involve parasites called vril. This is fiction introduced by someone named Donald Marshall. It's a completely technological...
I love when conspiracy theorists call out other conspiracy theorists and are like, no, it's not that bullshit, it's my bullshit.
Logical process. The vril narrative just makes cloning harder to believe. The clone is never the original person. Humans are souls and clones are soulless. There can be clones alongside a living person, or replacing the original person. The soul is always with the original body. There is no consciousness transfer. Your consciousness resides with your soul. It cannot be put into another body by humans. The clone is always a separate person. Only memories can be transferred. To my knowledge,
Transferred. Why does this AI voice keep fucking up?
Pleiadians
It's really bad for an AI voice.
are the only source who have accurately disclosed rapid human cloning. The disclosure community has become an echo chamber of fake information, with no discernment about the sources. Joe Biden is a clone. The original was executed. The Obamas are cloned. The Clintons are cloned. If only the truthers understood most of these people have already been removed, they could find more peace. Joe Biden was an old man, and the process of cloning an old man over...
Imagine finding peace in the murder and replacement of your political enemies and still thinking you're not a fucked up person.
and over produces only senile clones. There are no actors trying to entertain us, and no white hats giving away secret plans. The hardest part is understanding there won't be any public announcement about cloning or mass arrests until the shift. None of this can be known before Ascension because it would lead to...
You can't see the boy, but he's at the door right now, like scratching at the floor. Oh, cute. Yeah, we've hit a lot of bingo spots today.
Chaos and violence worldwide. The flip side of this is that Galactic Federation is allowing dark forces to lie to us because they want us to awaken to the deception on our own. This reality is a test. We always have moral free will whether or not we have secret disclosure information. Clones won't shift because clones aren't real people with souls. When the shift happens, this reality will be only evil people and clones. A new transhumanist world order will take over this 3D Earth, while ascended humans live in paradise on the parallel 5D Earth.
Yeah, if all these crackpots who believe this stuff want to fuck off to whatever parallel Earth they believe in, please do. I would love that. Go away.
From our next message, clones and AI. The human race has had our DNA manipulated, altered and split in two to change our entire species' genetic makeup. Clones are a genetic creation that run on an artificial program AI. Artificial intelligence. Clones, because of their genetically modified makeup, will suffer serious health conditions.
Jesus. Everything is AI garbage. Everything is AI garbage.
Everything that makes you you.
Can look at it very easily and
We've seen the psychic fails, I think. Did we watch the JFK?
You think you know why
we
they
did. We watched the JFK thing. I can get rid of that finally.
So, what you're looking...
I see this guy's channel. The video complaining about AI was using AI to narrate. Oh, I picked up on that. Revolver Asathot says, "Hi Hannah and Stannis, I'm teaching myself to draw and was wondering if it was okay to use a stream cap as reference for a piece I'm drawing, Vulcan Spock Hannah, and gonna do the background as Hannah sitting on the bridge of the TOS Enterprise." Absolutely, go for it. Oh, that's that guy's book. Funny. What's his name? Trey Smith?
And first of all, I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas.
And while traveling to see family, I was listening to a lot of predictions and even prophetic voices, people that were predicting and even prophesying a lot of doom and gloom. And for hours and hours, I listened to these over the last couple of days, and even got my spirit down as I was thinking about it. So there's been all these major wins in the country, and I was listening to people come against many of Trump's picks for this, that, or the other, and also even prophetic voices that were talking about heavy, heavy things that were coming. And I wanted to comment on that because there was a break in my spirit as I began to talk to several people that I trust. First of all, in the Bible, it tells you to fear not 365 times by some counts. 365 times, one for each day, it says to fear not.
We are again at the front gates of the infamous Skinwalker Ranch. Interesting to be parked down here.
What are we looking at on the Patreon show? A good question. Random stuff, probably a little bit of Call for an Uprising. Maybe Marcel's video about me, that's quite mean. Not sure what else.
Out in the dark.
Yeah, I surprisingly don't know anything about the Skinwalker Ranch conspiracies. I've heard them talk about it by name, but I'm actually not very familiar.
Can you appear as a glowing light on the hillside like you do at Magic Mesa? It was like everything just flashed, like lit up like noonday. Something made a noise down here. Right when I said that 3 times, weird.
Like, is this like a real place? Are the owners of this property super annoyed that they get harassed by conspiracy theorists all the time? Not as cool as Ram Ranch, true.
Oh, that, whoa, another shooting star. This one even too. I was saying it's like a ladder. It has these dots. And now I have a really weird feeling like something's watching me. I don't know if I crawl over something and rub my face. My eyes, I feel like I've been pepper sprayed. Everything is on fire right now. You ready?
Skinwalker Ranch was bought by a businessman who's a UFO truther, of course.
There is a connection.
The owner made the conspiracies to sell oh, Jesus. I hate the world. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate the world. I hate the world. I hate the world.
Between the paranormal, UFOs, and the myths of ancient history. The clues are scattered across the landscape from a forbidden past. Maybe even in your own backyard. There is a connection between the true nature of our reality, consciousness, and the unexplained. I'm Carl the Crusher. Let's explore the unknown.
Artemis, thanks for 47 months. You ever think about how if like half of the population of planet Earth wasn't a bunch of woo-woo dipshits, we'd be like living in sci-fi by now? How much of our problems are because half of us are just like insane? What was the stream about? That flat earther's pretty good. I know he did something recently about, oh, he did a thing about the LA fires and Trump. I am not covering that.
I I've decided to take a detour and come and visit the Dinosaur National Monument. This is the visitor center where they actually have a fossil quarry inside, and then there's some of the most amazing ancient petroglyphs and pictograph sites around in this whole area that we're going to go visit a couple of them today while the weather's still good. So let's go check out the...
Sophie with the $10 Canadian super chat says, your take about the collective insanity is great. Don't give in to the doom. Your channel is consciousness raising for me and others. I'm doing my best. I'm just having a bad day. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bum people out. I really am trying my best. I'm sorry.
Visitor center. So that was totally packed in there. And so we're gonna come out here and wait for the shuttle and go up to the actual quarry exhibit. So there's an exhibit hall that shows where they're actually
I would say this. Philosophically, I classify myself as an absurdist for the most part. So I'm pretty cool with the absurdity of the world. In fact, I find it fascinating. It's one of the reasons I, do this for a living. But man, lately the level of absurdity has been really hard to lean into without being incredibly existentially concerned about the fate of not only myself, but of humans in general. Which, it's almost frustrating because it's an incredibly pretentious anxiety to have. Everything I just said makes me sound like a pretentious asshole. So I get myself all worked up with this shit, and then on top of that, I gotta go, you're such a douchebag. Why are you even thinking about this? Who cares? Your thoughts on this don't matter. Who the fuck cares, you dramatic bitch? You know what I mean? And then I spiral about that. And then I flip back to the other thing. And then I hate myself because I feel like I'm being pretentious. And then I feel like I hate myself because I'm not taking it seriously. It's either or. I just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Pouring out the fossils. So why don't we just take the shuttle and do that?
Environment that existed here in the past.
All I'll say is I'm glad I don't have kids. Holy shit. I cannot even imagine having kids in this world. What a nightmare. Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, you're great and very grounding for us. I'm glad.
In recent geologic time, these layers have been uplifted and tilted. Because of this tilt, as we drive, we will be traveling back in time. The first layer we see is a dramatic ridge of sandstone. Look closely at this ridge, and you may see grooves or ripple marks. The sediment here was once a sandy shoreline along a shallow sea that covered this region.
This looks like an interesting location, geographically and geologically. It's neat to look at. I'd go there, but not for aliens. It just looks like a cool place to go. That's actually incredible. That's incredibly cool to look at. It's a wall dug up full of fossils. What a neat thing to see. Why do they gotta add the alien stuff? This is cool as shit on its own.
Oh my word.
Oh, this is up the road at the dinosaur park? I'll just go to the dinosaur park. Because that's awesome. The town is called Dinosaur, Colorado. That rules.
There's the whole head, the neck, and the teeth, and the skull.
What happened here that all these dinosaurs got fossilized, right next to each other like this? Was there, a volcanic thing? Was there a flood? I don't know how fossils happen.
Hey, you know how dinosaurs don't really exist? They never existed. They were invented by the Royal Society in 1841. Fact.
The class Dinosauria was originally defined by Sir Richard Owen of the Royal Society and Superintendent of the British Museum Natural History Department in 1842.
All dinosaur bones are replicas made by chicken bones.
Broha blast around? I don't think so. He might be busy doing his own stream. Ooh. I don't know what he's doing tonight.
Bones from China. True story. And you know why you can't use real dinosaur bones?
Sophie, thanks for another $10 super chat, says, your channel rocks. All hail tinfoil busker Xenu. Sorry, I'm high. You're good. Thanks for the super chat.
Because they claim that they're still radioactive because of the asteroid 66 million years ago.
In what was known as the Great Dinosaur Rush, or the Bone Wars, Edward Drinker Cope of the Academy of Natural Sciences and Othniel Marsh of the Peabody Museum of Natural History began a lifelong rivalry and passion for dinosaur hunting. They started out as friends, but became bitter enemies during a legendary feud involving double-crossing, slander, bribery, theft, spying, and destruction of bones by both parties. None of them once claimed to find a complete skeleton either, so all their work involved reconstructions. In fact, to this day, no complete skeleton has ever been found.
Okay?
That's incredibly misleading at best. The Bone Wars sound a lot cooler than it really was. Yeah, it was basically douchebags ruining ruining things for other people. The dinosaur denial.
And
the dinosaur denial is so interesting.
Facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities.
In 2014, when I published my popular article and video, Dinosaurs Never Existed, it was very difficult to find any good information on the subject. But 2 sources I found and referenced were David Wozney's article, Dinosaurs, Science or Science Fiction, and Robin Kofid's article, The Dinosaurs Never Existed. Now, in 2022...
The kitty is attacking me because my witch costume has, like, these dangly bits, and he is attacking the dangly bits on the bottom part of my skirt.
No easier to find good information on this subject.
Hi.
And even those 2 sources have been all but scrubbed from the internet. Robin Kofid's article and his entire GVE News website have since been deleted, and mysteriously neither the article or his site are even recognized by the archive.org Wayback Machine. If anyone is able to find that piece in its entirety, please send it to me. David Wozney's original article and website have also mysteriously been deleted.
Buddy, you're in the way, I can't see. Can you lay down?
Copy, and I'm making this video to preserve.
He says no, I'm gonna stand directly in front of the screen. Yeah, where are you going? Buddy, pick somewhere to go that isn't right in front of the screen. Oh, okay, thank you.
Preserve it for posterity. If anyone watching this has not already seen my documentary, Evolution and Dinosaurs Debunked, please stop this video and watch that one first. Link in the description box below. When children go to a dinosaur museum, are the displays they see displays of science or displays of art and science publications? And from
We've seen the Dubé thing. Is this not a new one?
19th and 20th century people.
Harold Ebbleman says, oh, I do have bits. Please remember that you're not alone out there. We're feeling all this shit with you. Hearing your voice, you voice these things, the absurdity and the misanthropy, makes us know we're not alone or completely off base when feeling these ways, whether during stream or after. Thank you, my love to the Void and the other kitties. that from? That looks like it's from a show. Oh, was that from Enterprise? Okay. Oh my god, is that supposed to be Hitler handshaking an alien?
The history of our men, they secretly... Did the Nazis really lose World War II, or did they secretly ally with the Illuminati and the reptilians that they came in contact with in Antarctica to take over the U.S. from within?
They lost the war. They lost the war.
Starting with Project Paperclip. This video will explore this theory and
that's not what Project Paperclip is. Ugh.
Hopefully add one more piece of the puzzle to the true history of our country and how we were infiltrated and who our real enemies are. Top secret Nazi maps, declassified KGB documents, confirm the existence of subterranean breakaway civilizations. One of the most interesting questions that many people have pondered over the centuries is whether our planet is at least partially hollow and inhabited. Most of us are familiar with the legendary stories about the Nazis who explored the polar regions of our planet and even created secret bases in New Schwabenland and Antarctica. These rumors are based in fact, as Nazi Germany sent an expedition to Antarctica in 1938, claimed the territory of New Swabia, and immediately began building secret deep underground bases below the ice. German Navy Grand Admiral Karl Donitz stated in 1943, the German submarine fleet is proud of having built for the Fuhrer in another
Most people actually haven't heard about Alaska Nazis, but if you're a flat earther or a conspiracy theorist, you probably have. It's a pretty pervasive myth in certain conspiracy circles. So I assume she is assuming her audience is already familiar with some of this lore.
Part of the world, a Shangri-La on land, an impregnable fortress. The Nazis continually shipped men and material to the South Pole throughout the war years and defeated a post-World War II attack by Allied forces in 1946, led by Admiral Byrd, who retreated in disgrace after suffering substantial damage and casualties. That's Operation Highjump. U.S. Admiral Richard Byrd, upon his return from a massive military expedition to Antarctica in 1947, stated it was necessary for the USA to take defensive actions against enemy air fighters which come from the polar regions. Many researchers have also published material about Operation Highjump and Admiral Byrd's journeys, where extremely advanced airships, disc-shaped UFOs, were seen flying around and even engaging him militarily. Not long ago, a top-secret map belonging to the Third Reich was recovered in which there are several secret passages depicted which were used by German U-boats to...
We recently found this map. World War II was almost 100 years ago. It was like 85 years ago now. What are you talking about? You just found a map?
Access mysterious underground regions as well as complete maps of both hemispheres and the mysterious kingdom of Agartha. The possibility that the Earth is hollow and that it can be accessed through the North and or South Poles and that ancient secret breakaway civilizations flourish within it.
Mulched Undying says, also Persona 2 Innocent Sin fans, but that game is about rumor and conspiracy theories coming true. Second, there's a video recommendation. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. I did hear about this. Yeah, the what if history guy had like a breakdown.
Everything in the story is 100% true. You have
I don't. I was told about this. Let's give it a shot. We'll give it a shot, and if I feel uncomfortable about it, we'll back out. So the gentleman behind a pretty famous What If Alt History channel seemingly has had a mental breakdown of some kind and believes a lot of pretty out there things. Unfortunately, well, let's just watch it and see.
My word before God, my ancestors, and myself that it's all true. That will also make sense at the end. The manifesto I wrote, the manifesto for the New Right, that was dictated to me by God. And God told me that I should integrate science, Christianity, and Darwinism into a single coherent theory. I've been regularly communicating with God about what he believes the future
Like,
of
I think he's at the right around the exact age that you tend to develop schizophrenia if you're one to develop it. So I'm assuming this is that. I don't know enough to, like, diagnose that. I'm not qualified to diagnose anyone, but he seems around the right age where that kind of thing. He's 23. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He needs help. This is probably developing schizophrenia then.
the right
What is that age? Usually around mid-20s.
Philosophically should be. And this is what I'm about to feed you in this video
is the best attempt.
I really hope he's able to get help for this, because...
This little girl named Chan.
The reason sperm has been such an important part of this video.
An instantaneous classic.
I had a profound sense of sexual inadequacy, which I realized was completely undeserved.
I killed your god. I killed your god because he never really existed. You made your society run under a false god since you were too weak to talk to a real one.
This is a discovery on the scale of Columbus reaching the New World.
I've changed so much since high school. I thought I was a fucking nerdy kid. I thought I was a weirdo and nerdy and a loser. And now here we are. I'm fucking talking to God, and I'm giving you a message.
Alright, I'm gonna skip down to part 1 and get over this intro part.
Now, it's not a secret that Rudyard has been slowly getting off the rails in the past year. It's not like he's been excellent before, but his condition has been radically worsening in the past year.
I've been betting my money for years that America will have a rape crisis at some point in the future. I've said in previous videos that for a bunch of reasons, which I explain in this text wall, that the right would win a civil war. That being said, you've suddenly armed a group of sexually frustrated, resentful young men. They'll probably view women as a leftist enemy, and thus feel no remorse for being brutal. There is no unifying ideology on the right, which means it will be exceptionally difficult to maintain a strong ruling government, which will probably devolve into various warlords, using effectively sex as a chip to keep their young men following them.
That ultimately culminated in him breaking his 9-year-old YouTube uploading schedule by going quiet for 2 months before delivering us with a 12-part 10-hour autobiographical video that he wants us to treat as the next Book of Mormon.
In which he discusses, among some pretty horrible and unfortunate things about his childhood, that he can now commune with the spirit world, has spoken with Odin and other deities, and that God is now commanding him to basically create a new religion. He has established what is basically a cult that is trying to further explore this spirit world. This is not a joke. I'll show you the clips of him saying it himself. What if Occultist has legitimately lost his mind?
Now, in contrast to some other YouTubers who believe that what we've seen is simply a psychotic episode from a drug overdose, I actually created a timeline of his online activity for the past 5 years, documenting what has led to this, where I conclude that many precursors to his revelations during psychedelic trips are just rehashing of positions he held previously, in addition to his political manifesto, which I have reviewed. But this time, because his schizophrenia has progressed and going to be, he used Odin and other things as claims to authority, making an assumption that his audience will too not be able to differentiate the real and the unreal. So there were a lot of signs before, and on my Substack I extensively document them.
But for the purposes of this video, we're only going to be focused on the 10-hour autobiography miniseries.
The yapping takes a significant portion of the video. His speech often shifts abruptly from one subject to another, leaving many sentences unfinished. Sometimes it can be so bad that he can literally cover multiple topics within the frame of a minute. The series is also poorly structured, doesn't have much substance, and its entire message can be dumbed down to the following.
Self-improvement is masturbation. Now self-destruction.
The usage of pronouns is also very interesting, as Chadyard is often talking in third person and also uses plural pronouns to denote Odin and other spirits that are in possession of him. Nonetheless, it has some lolcow moments that I will be showing you in random order. Now, I will be skipping the rape parts, excluding this, to sort of understand where a lot of it may be coming from.
My mom made this deal for me, and I was forced through the horror to accept the deal. Although, I could have just died. My only choice besides dying was accepting the deal past a certain threshold of suffering. I think when my mom was brain dead for 2 days, God or the devil, and I think both at the same time, told my mom that she could either die or accept the deal to live. She surrendered her soul to a demon, and
yeah,
the rest
that's pretty much how I feel about it, Miss Colanius. I'm iffy.
I was
like,
right as
I am okay covering certain things, but I do think that they need to be dealt with a certain level of tact.
Odin or embody an epic.
I'm gonna skip that part. Actually, what time is it? We're probably done for the day. I need to start getting ready for the patron show. Here's a link to this if you want to watch the rest of it. But, I don't know. I'm iffy about the whole thing, because I haven't seen the video that he's even covering. Because I think it's important to talk about mental illness. I think it's important to talk about what delusions look like so you can spot them, and so you can be aware of them, whether they're occurring in you or someone in your family or your friends, to be able to kind of go, oh, this is an issue. Unfortunately, a lot of coverage ends up being not the best. I don't know. Amber says, in case you don't cover it, Ruthyard here believes that he took ayahuasca, which transported him to hell, and when he escaped Odin, Norse god of wisdom, appointed him as a prophet who will save Western society from degenerate influence of modernity. His evidence for this was that he has a mystical destiny locked in his blood, which he has unlocked because his father made him play strategy games. Oh boy. Jesus. Taking hallucinogenic drugs, especially if you have a history of, like, schizophrenia or other delusional illnesses in your family, not a good call. Don't do that. Sophie, thank you so much for becoming a member on YouTube. Luna Broadway VTube, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. I'm actually wrapping up for the day right now. We're about to do a raid. And then we're going to go do our Patreon and YouTube member-only show. If you can, make sure you check out Luna Broadway VTube here on Twitch. Who we gonna raid? Oh boy. Mooncat is watching a MAGA rap, so y'all can enjoy that. I'll see you soon, if you're part of the Patreon or a YouTube member. Otherwise, I will see you Tuesday. I won't be streaming tomorrow. I have electrolysis, and also I'll be spending a lot of mental energy tomorrow disassociating from reality. So I'll see you Tuesday when we'll be doing, a Tinfoil Tuesday stream. So I'll see you then. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you soon.